Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So welcome dear devotees in our morning Srimad Bhagavatam reading sessions. We are reading from Canto 1, chapter number 9. We have covered up to text 27. We are beginning from text 28 now. Any recap points?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we saw that Bhishma Dev is instructing Yudhishthir Maharaj that those who are attentive in devotion and who meditate in their mind and who are chanting the holy name of the Lord, Krishna will surely give them darshan in the mind when they leave the body.
Very good. Yes, it is very important. The three things mentioned by Bhishma Dev. Doing service, meditating on Lord, and chanting. And that's how we can also have darshan of Lord. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Prabhuji, there is one more point in relation to devotees, like how Lord Shri Krishna, they give the opportunity to their devotees instead of them explaining to their devotees, like the higher position. So that's why they took Yudhishthira to Bhishma Pitama instead of, he could have given that same knowledge, but so they always put their higher elevated devotees at higher position. So that's the opportunity they gave to their devotees closer to their heart.
Amazing. Thank you, Varinder Prabhu, for blessings from Bendigo.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna wants to glorify his devotees more, and that's why he takes Yudhishthira Maharaj to Bhishma Dev. What an amazing Bhakta Vatsalya Krishna is exhibiting, glorifying his devotees. He will break the vow, but let his... Bhishma Dev ka vow tha, pratigya tha, कि either Arjuna will be killed or either Krishna has to lift a weapon. So Bhishma Dev took a vow and Krishna took a vow that I will not lift a weapon. So दोनों का प्रतिज्ञा था. Krishna made sure that अपने डिवोटी का प्रतिज्ञा वो तोड़ेगा नहीं, लेकिन खुद का vow Krishna broke his own promise, but his devotee's vow he maintained. Look at this, Achyuta. This is Bhakta Vatsalya. Krishna loves his devotees so much, so much. All right, let's start with text 28. I will recite the Sanskrit. We'll soon begin with the Bhishma Stuti as well. Many of our Bhakti Vriksha kids and Matajis, they know Bhishma Stuti. We'll start soon in couple of verses. So get ready, all of you who have done Bhishma Stuti. 28. Yeah. धर्मार्थ काम मोक्षांश सहोपायान यथा मुने नानख्यानेतिहासेषु वर्णयामास तत्त्ववेत्. Let's see. Anu Mataji, you want to read translation?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Prabhu. Then he described the occupational duties of different orders and statuses of life, citing instances from history, for he was himself well acquainted with the truth.
So, thank you so much, Anu Mataji. Here, Sutta Goswami is describing that what did Bhishma Dev instructed to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So he says, he described the occupational duties. If you see the Sanskrit, the first line, it says Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. All the occupational duties. We also saw yesterday how 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa Ashram, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, 4 Varnas and 4 Ashrams, what their occupational duties are, and citing instances from the history about various statuses of life. All this was nicely explained by Bhishma Dev to Yudhishthira Maharaj. He knew everything. He is a Mahajan. We have covered that before, how Bhishma is a Mahajan, one of the 12 Mahajans, and he knows everything. Krishna has empowered them for all this with this knowledge. We should not think that here Yudhishthir Maharaj is getting a guidance from Bhishma. Yudhishthir Maharaj is getting a guidance about how to rule, how to be an ideal king, how to be an ideal family man, what are the duties of the family man, what are the duties of a king. Yudhishthir Maharaj is learning from Bhishma, but Bhishma himself never sat on a throne. He was not a king. He was not a married family man. But still, he has the knowledge. So we shouldn't think that उसको तो ज्ञान है नहीं, वो तो कभी राजा बना ही नहीं, वो तो राजा था ही नहीं, तो वो कैसे गाइड करेगा राजा बनने का. So we have to understand this, that Bhishma is a margin. He's playing a pastime. He's playing a role. He was serving Krishna in this particular way, what is orchestrated in the Leela, in the pastime. But that doesn't mean that he can't guide. Many times, devotees, they have some questions and they go and wait to ask to some sannyasis, some maharajas, and people think that these devotees, local devotees, they don't understand my question, they may not be able to guide me. Here Yudhishthir Maharaj, taking guidance from Bhishma Dev, who was occupied as a duty bound. But Krishna is, what Varinder Prabhu just mentioned, Krishna arranged this, that Yudhishthir Maharaj getting guidance from Bhishma. That means a worldly devotee who is engaged in family life, he is engaged in the duties, can also guide another devotee. A person doesn't need to take sannyas or become take up a renounced order of life to guide someone. And for us also, we can take guidance from some devotee who are engaged in job, who are engaged in a married person. We can take guidance from them. This is what we learn from this. We don't have to wait for. See, there are two differences, dear devotees, understand, there are two differences, two different types of gurus: Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. Diksha Guru means one who gives initiation, one who gives Diksha. Shiksha Guru means the one who gives instructions. Sometimes it can be same. In the case of Srila Prabhupada, his disciples Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru were same. It may happen that our Shiksha is coming from the same person as the Diksha is coming, but it may not happen as well. We have many examples in our disciplic succession as well. Guru Parampara, the whole disciplic succession we have in our altar. Many instances where Diksha is given by someone else, but Shiksha, a devotee, take by someone else. Shiksha Guru can be many, but a Diksha Guru is only one. Diksha, a person can take from only one person, but Shiksha, a person can take from many people. And that is what being orchestrated here, that a Bhishma was engaged in worldly duties, but still Yudhishthir Maharaj was taking guidance from them. We know that how Bhishma Dev was playing a role, and he, do we have a time? You know how Bhishma Dev is called Ganga Putra, and his previous life, that why he has to suffer?
Yes, Prabhuji, a little bit. They steal a cow. That's what it was about.
Very good. So Bhishma Dev, he was one of the Vasus. There were 8 Vasus. And the celestial beings, they come from higher planetary system. They come and wander around the beautiful forest along with their wives. They come. हम holiday पे इधर बाली जाते हैं या फिर इधर जाएंगे. In previous ages, the Gandharvas, the celestial beings, they used to come to the earthly planet because the earth was very beautiful. People were very beautiful. They used to come. So Vishwadev was one of the 8 Vasus. And when 8 Vasus, along with their wife, they were wandering in the forest, Kamdenu, Vasisht Muni ka jo Kamdenu gaay thi, she was she can give anything, like a desire tree. That cow was giving supply of everything. So when Vishwadev, his name was Prabhasha. Prabhas and his wife, along with other total eight Gandharvas, they were wandering in the forest. Prabhas's wife, प्रभास की जो वाइफ थी उसको वो काउ बहुत अच्छी लगे, बोला I want this cow. And along with eight Gandharvas, they all made up a plan how to steal that cow, because that is a desire fulfilling cow, and the wife, Prabhas's wife, wanted that. So they made up a plan. They stole the cow, and then Vasisht Muni finds out that these are, because he's a yogi, he has that special powers, mystic powers. He finds out these are the Vasus. They have made up the plan and stole the cow, and that's why he curses them, that you are doing such an act of stealing, being a Gandharva. I curse you. You will suffer. He sends them to this material world. Take birth in a mortal world where there is a janma and mrityu, birth and death is there. Come and take birth here and you will suffer. Out of the eight Vasus, they all realize their mistake, and they starts begging forgiveness to the Vasisht Muni. And they said, okay, we will, the curse has been given, so it has to be accepted. But we pray you that we don't stay there for a long time. So Vasisht Muni grants them, okay, you will go out of the eight, seven will come back quick, because they were not the eighth one. Jo Prabhas ki wife thi, and Prabhas, which was Bhishma in the next birth. Prabhas, he was the main culprit because his wife wanted, and he made all these plans. So the seventh one, Vasisht Muni said, you can come back quick. You go to the material world quickly, you will come back. But the eighth one, Vasu, Prabhas, who was Bhishma, they said you have to suffer there for longer time, and that's why we see Bhishma. There's whole life was full of struggles. All the vows he takes, and the whole story is full of struggle. Even though he loved Pandavas, he had to be on the opposite side of the Pandavas. So these seven or eight Vasus, they prayed that, okay, we have to take birth in this material world. Then the birth has been taken from a mother. So they prayed to Ganga Devi, river Ganga, that, please, you become our mother and make sure we come. So out of that eight, seven, and Ganga Devi, when personality, Ganga Devi, he met Shantanu. When Shantanu was in the forest, Ganga Devi met, and then Shantanu wanted to marry Ganga. And then Ganga made a promise that, okay, I will marry to you, but you will not ask me any questions. You let me do whatever I do, even though it's a strange thing. Don't stop me and don't ask me any questions. And then one after one, they had seven sons, and Ganga Devi drowns them. Remember the story. Ganga drowns that seven Vasus, because they were the seven Vasus which were caused by Vasisht Muni, and they had to appear in this world, but they have to quickly wind up their pastime. So the seven, they drowned, and their life, they went back to the Gandharvas. But the eighth one, when Ganga Devi was going to drown, Shantanu couldn't handle more. सात बच्चों को तो drown कर दिया. The eighth one, Shantanu stopped Ganga, and then Ganga Devi left because he broke the promise. But that eighth one is Bhishma Dev. So many beautiful, pastimes of the previous life, and um, it carries on, multiple lifetimes. The Vedic scriptures and these pastimes, they go on multiple lifetimes. So that's why the instruction, Srila Prabhupada writes here in the purport, that the instructions mentioned in the scriptures, or the pastimes, or the leelas, everything mentioned in the scriptures could be from different planets, could be from different universes, different yugas altogether, different dimensions, different time zones. But all we are concerned with, Srila Prabhupada writes, all we are concerned with is the learning principles from them, which we can apply in our practical daily life, and we can make our life beautiful by the learning lessons. Yeah. All right, let's stories. When I start, there is no end to the stories. The time will end, but the stories will not end. Aruna Mataji, you raised hand.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, a doubt has come in my mind when you're saying that Bhishma Dev was eight Vasu, and of course he was involved in this act. So Bhishma Dev was a devotee of Lord before in that birth, or he was not a devotee, and he was a Mahajan as well at that time of the birth. just, or he became Mahajan and he became a devotee in this present life of Bhishma Dev? So that's the question arising in my mind, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Of course, as I said, he was from a higher planet, so obviously he was in an elevated platform. But again, like in this particular role, he is playing uh, uh, as a drama. It's a plan of Krishna in his acting. In the previous life also, it is not mentioned in the Upanishads or Puranas. Like there could be something before that also. There is no end to it. From Vasu, how did he become Vasu? What was before? That could be multiple lifetimes. It is not mentioned, but all we know is, yes, he is a Mahajan, he is a great devotee. And even if Vasus or Gandharvas, they are also very highly elevated. That's why they go to the higher planets. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. My understanding from that is like, we don't know a part of a story. So, he may have been he must have been a Mahajan or a devotee for a long time. But as you mentioned, that he's participating in the drama from life after life to enact in Krishna's Leelas. So, my understanding.
Thank you. And that's what Prabhupada mentions. We are concerned about the learning points. इसका इधर से उसकी wife कौन थी, उसकी wife ने ऐसा क्यों किया, उधर से वो किया. Like there is no end to it. But if we learn the lessons, that means we are successful. We have got to the point. That is more important. All right, let's do text 29. Dharmam pravadatastasya sakala pratyupastitah yo yoginas mrityor vanchitastuttarayanah. Monica Mataji, can I request you?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes. Hare Krishna. While Bhishma Dev was, sorry Prabhuji, my voice is gone. While Bhishma Dev was describing occupational duties, the sun's course ran into the northern hemisphere. This period is desired by mystics who die at their will. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. While Bhishma Dev was describing these occupational duties, the sun's course ran into the northern hemisphere. The sun's changing the direction, going to the northern horizon. This period is considered as very auspicious to leave the body. So the mystics who die at their will, people desire this. That is what mentioned here. So there are certain auspicious times. Some are like, even for devotees' life, we know the sadhana, morning time, or readings, what we do, our chanting, morning time, Brahma Muhurta is very auspicious time to do the things. And people who do mode of passion or mode of ignorance kind of activities, for them, the late night. That's why we see morning 4:30 Mangala Aarti happens, chanting, devotees read Bhagavatam in the morning, but the clubs and parties and dance and everything happens at night, darkness, because there are different timings and the time has different influences. So here it is mentioned there are certain yogis who have that mystic powers where they can leave the body. They control the pranavayu according to different timings, the auspiciousness. They can desire when to leave the body. And if they do that, in certain time they leave the body, certain duration, when the sun is here, the planets are here, the time of the day is here, when they leave the body, they get the higher destination. They go to the higher planets, they go to the elevated loka, and that's why they do this different kind. So there are certain yogic siddhis. We saw that 8 siddhis are there. When a person performs yoga or different types of yogic performances, they get certain yogic siddhis like anima, mahima, garima, lagima, prapti, prakamya. There are ishitva, and the last one is vashikaran, vasitva. So we know anima becoming smaller than the smallest, lagima becoming larger. So the yogis can have this, garima becoming very heavy, lagima becoming very lighter than the lightest. We see even in Kumbh Mela, when people say that there are some Babajis and yogis, they are far, far away, but somehow They dip into the river and they come out from the Kumbh Mela, wherever it's happening. So this is like a Lagima Siddhi. They become lighter than the light is. Some people have Prapti Siddhi. Prapti Siddhi means to obtain something. They think of something they desire, and they can obtain things. These are all mystic siddhis. Prapti Siddhi, Prakamya, the ability to experience. Ishitva means controlling the nature. We see in various pastimes also these sages, some of them have the mystic siddhis and powers, and they perform accordingly. Even Vasitva means Vashikaran. People can control other living beings. They can control the mind and nature of other living beings by this type of siddhis. Now, this Vashikaran is also very known or popular, especially in India, where people do this mystic magic, black magic kind of things. So there are 8 yogic siddhis. Some even travel in the water. Some can walk in the water. Yeah, there is a book by His Holiness Radhanath Swami, The Journey Home. In that, Maharaj, he was traveling in the Himalayas, in the remote areas of Himalayas, and Maharaj encountered many of these yogis who meditate in Himalayas, and he is described. He has put it in the book about his experience, like that. Some devotees he saw while meditating, they float in the air. This is the Lagima Siddhi. They become lighter, and that's how they float in the air while meditating. Some he has mentioned in the book that while in the Himalayas, where they are walking, wherever they step, the whole ice gets melted, and it's like a pond, a little puddle where all the water. That's how their body temperature is, and that's how they become heavy. So different experiences. They control the nature. Maharaj has mentioned The Journey Home. I highly recommend, if you haven't read. It's a biography. It's called a biography of an American Swami. That how he encounters his problem. If you love reading, you will love this book. These are very beautiful. What is the learning point for us about this siddhis? That the devotees, even though they are mystic siddhis, they are great, they are absolutely crazy stuff people can do out of this mystic siddhis, but devotees do not aspire for that. They are like a side product. Bhakti yoga is topmost. A devotee performing bhakti yoga may have all these things, but a person doesn't hanker for that. The person doesn't long they don't want this type of siddhis. Why? Because this type of mystic siddhis can divert one from pure devotional service. If a person is having like this, imagine, no, you can float in the air, you can walk in the water, a person may become puffed up. The pride may come, and people will praise you so much, and so much media coverage happens, and we become so much famous, and that will divert us from the pure devotion to Krishna. And that's why devotees, the bhakti yogis, keep themselves away from these siddhis or the mystic powers. The second reason mentioned why devotees do not go for this particular types of siddhis, it because it will inflate our ego. When we achieve something, it inflates our ego, and that's why when the ego is there, that means we are bound into this material world. So that's why in Shastras it is said, bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakale ashante. Bhukti means those people who are bhog karna chahte hai, enjoying in material world. Mukti means those who want to merge, those who want liberation, salvation. Bhukti mukti siddhi means like this siddhis. This siddhi is what we mentioned. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami means those who have lusty desires. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakale ashanti. Krishna bhakta nishkama ata eva shanta. Only Krishna's devotees, they have no material, no personal desires, and that's why they are always peaceful, while all these others people, they will always be ashanta. Yes, thank you, Anuna Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhu, I'm taking everybody's time. If you want, I can ask this question later on. The question is related to Bhishma Dev. Why, when we are saying that it doesn't matter to the devotees to leave the body at particular time, because they are going to go to Krishna Dham anyway. So why did Bhishma plan to leave the body at that particular time when it doesn't matter? He's a devotee. And similar question, that has been coming to my mind for some time. When, people believe in Vastu Shastra and all those things. So it's kind of when we are worshipping Krishna, do we need to take care of these things? It relates to me that, if we have got the siddhis, bhuktis, and muktis sort of thing, like, do we need to care about these things when we are in devotion to Krishna? So that is like, a wholesome question. But yes, of course, uh, because Bhishma left the body at that particular time, that question is, I think so all these questions are connected to each other. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Question. Thank you for asking. So there are two reasons why this is mentioned. The first one, which is coming in the next verse only, 30 verse, but I will explain now how you have asked the questions. When Bhishma Dev was leaving this planet, everything, Krishna made sure that everything is auspicious. Krishna was present, the sages were present, the rishis, the Pandavas, and Krishna himself, Bhishmadev was meditating on him. Even the time, auspicious timing, the sun's direction, everything 100% perfect. Yeah. So Krishna made sure that everything is 100% perfect for Bhishma's departure. The second reason, what is mentioned, is when Sutta Goswami was reciting this Bhagavatam. And even Sutta Goswami was repeating the Bhagavatam which Sukdev Goswami spoke to Parikshit Maharaj. In that assembly, there were all different types of yogis. Remember, I spoke a couple of days back that assembly had all the dhyana yogis, this yogis, karma yogi, all ashtanga yogis, all different yogis were there. And there are certain types of yogis, they not bhakti yogi, but ashtanga yogi, and then different types of people. For them, this is very important for them to leave the body at a specific time when the sun is this direction, everyone. So Bhagavatam is for everyone. Aisa nahi ki my way or a highway. If you are not doing this, that means you are on a highway. Aisa nahi hai. This is inclusive of everyone, and that's why it is mentioned here. Even when Bhishmadev was departing, we are talking Sutta Goswami's assembly, we are talking about Parikshit Maharaj and Sukdev Goswami's assembly, and even while Bhishma Dev were departing, there were a lot of other sages, other rishis. Remember, we discussed a few verses back. The rishis from all around the universe, they all came. So to include everyone, to make everyone show that how Bhishma Dev is departing with 100% perfection because he was serving the Lord. That's why Krishna arranged all these things. That everything is perfect. The devotees are there, Krishna himself is there, the time is there, the sun's direction is there, everything is auspicious, and that's how devotees depart. Now your second question, that is it important for us to do all this time, auspiciousness, the sun's direction and everything? For a devotee's life, we don't have to worry. Prabhupada writes in this purport, next purport also, that devotees does not need to worry. All we focus is to serve Krishna in our life. Constant direction. Prabhupada himself showed this. He was age of 70. He went to America. He had no idea whether he would be able to come back or not, how the weather would be there, whether he would survive the cold of the New York City and the America. He didn't know. But he was just serving Krishna. Of course, again, just how Krishna made sure Bhishma Dev departs in all auspiciousness, Krishna made sure Prabhupada's final moments were also in Vrindavan, in Raman Reti, which is the beautiful in Vrindavan, along with the association of devotees. I shared a video yesterday about Srila Prabhupada's final moments. But Krishna made. So in devotees' life, we don't have to worry, because if in the 8th chapter, actually Prabhupada mentions, yes, next verse only. Prabhupada mentions whole 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The translation he writes. I have never seen this before. He writes the translation of 8th chapter where the devotee's thoughts of leaving this body at the last moment, how it ensures that the devotee will uh, reach to Krishna. And very specifically answering your question, Aruna Mataji, that we may not have all these things. Sometimes we may not be able to remember Krishna even at the last moment. Like devotee is dying in an accident or sudden heart attack or something, coma. Some people die in coma. So people may not be able to remember. But there is a verse in 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I will share in the group, that Krishna says, or Narad Muni says actually in that verse, that even though a devotee has served Krishna in the life, whole life doing devotional service, even though a devotee will not remember, may not remember Krishna if he dies suddenly by falling from a roof, falling in the well, being an accident or something, but Krishna will make sure that Krishna remembers that devotee because he has served Krishna throughout the life. So we do our part, and Krishna will make sure we remember. So our focus is only doing devotional service. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
All right, let's begin with 30 before एक कर लेते हैं one more. तदोपसंहृत्य गिरसहस्रनेर विमुक्त संगम मनद्यादि पुरुषे कृष्णे लसत्पिते पते चतुर्भुजे पुरः स्थिते मिलिता दृग्व्याधारयत्. Arun Amadaji, you want to read, or Anshul Prabhu? Anyone? Translation?
Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thereupon, that man who spoke on different subjects with thousands of meanings and who fought on thousands of battlefields and protected thousands of men stopped speaking, and being completely freed from all bondage, withdrew his mind from everything else and fixed his wide open eyes upon the original personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, who stood before him, four-handed, dressed in yellow garments that glittered and shined. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. What a beautiful vision. Krishna is blessing Bhishma Dev with. He's wide open, and his garments glittering with the sunshine. Bhishma Dev wanted to see Krishna because that glittering yellow garment Krishna was wearing in the battlefield, and the sun rays was the yellow. It was glittering, and Bhishma they wanted to see that. So Krishna is granting that vision. And most important thing, what is mentioned here, completely freed from all bondage. Like, Bhishma Dev was a commander. He was a head of the Kauravas, grandfather, and he was a Kshatriya as well. So naturally, whole life he has been working on protecting the kingdom, protecting the dynasty, the throne, and so many things might be going on his mind. But here he was able to withdraw everything and then completely absorb in Krishna. I will stop here because this verse is beautiful, and if I start explaining, I would be rushing. So let's do half of 30 now. We will continue half of, because only 2 minutes left. We will continue this tomorrow. But this is very important verse because it explains that the last moment, the death is very painful. पूरी लाइफ इतना कुछ एक्वायर किया है, relationships, money, wealth, properties, this, that, friendships, पूरा एक्वायर किया है. Death is snatching everything in 1 second. Split of a second, and all our attachments, everything is being snatched away from us. It's very painful. So let's understand this tomorrow, that how Krishna grants Bhishma Dev completely free from all bondage, and how we can achieve that in our last moment, that we are able to remove all the attachments and absorb in Krishna. We will talk tomorrow. I will pause here. Yes, Shiva Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. If I can share just one short experience of siddhi.
Yeah.
Before coming to Krishna consciousness, we used to go to different ashrams, and I had seen lots of videos of this one yogi in Nepal, and there were videos of fire, people walking on fire, and some girls dancing on glass. And I used to think maybe that's fake. Initially, there's 3 stages. Initially, I thought that was all fake. Maybe the fire is not real. Maybe the glass is all plastic and things like that. And when I actually went there, so I saw actually things were actually real. Like some people were actually dancing and walking on fire. So my thinking changed. So I thought, okay, this is real. Oh, everything can be done. So now I realize that those siddhis, they're actually real, but they're not permanent. They cannot dance every day. They cannot walk on fire every day. It was done under certain conditions. There was heavy breathing, like 40 minutes of deep breathing, and there was some the yogi also, he somehow they call what is called they control the mind, and then some focus on something. So it was done in certain conditions only. So I think when I think about now, these siddhis, while they're true, they are done real, but they're not long lasting and they're not sort of applicable on day-to-day life anyway. So what is the big fuss about these siddhis? And relating to that also, I can relate some